Hello, welcome to this impromptu live stream. Thank you for showing up. Who's here? Karen is here. Hello, Karen, and thank you. And Juan. Hello, Juan. Should I say Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all of that? And I hope it will be fun. I hope it will be fun, Juan. Thanks for hanging out. Let's start the show officially with let's see, let's do a little bit of something that I would say, give me a minute. I need a minute to get used to StreamYard again. Okay. All right. So we're beginning now. Official. No, I guess not. We're not. I wanted to just play something. It's not allowing me to. That's okay. I know why. I know why. Okay. We'll figure things out. So I want to share some thoughts and I want to hear what you have to say about Christmas, because Christmas is today, they say, officially. I don't know what you say about that, but that's what culture tells us is today is Christmas. And I know that we've been in conversations already, so many cultural conversations about Christmas, right? And I'm not trying to be the what cold blanket on the parade, on the Christmas parade, but it's time to have some conversations for people who can handle the conversations, because not everybody can handle this type of, they call it a black pill. It's not a black pill. We are at the beginning of something very, very powerful, a shift. We have been blessed to be around to witness what some call the fourth turning. Is it the fourth turning or the fifth turning? Or some people use the term the pendulum swing. Or you've been in rooms where they talk about a reset. All of these words to describe where we are as a society, a civilization. We've been here before. That's the thing. We have been at this point of turning. Some people fear the turning, the changes, but I don't fear it. I'm really excited. I hope you are as well. So this evening, I just want to discuss this concept. Hey, Jamie. Hello. Welcome. Yes. So anybody who's watching this on a replay, I hope you get to enjoy it that way as well. We'll jump right into things because I have to think about replays and getting right into the show, as we call it, get the show on the road. So I've entitled this Naughty or Nice. I was going to take some more time off because I've been writing, and the whole process of writing is amazing. If you are a writer, let me know. I enjoy writing so much. This is a journey, as they say, of therapy. It's the most elite level therapy. I could never pay for this level of therapy. Writing a book, a memoir, where you have to go through memories and you have to sort them out and make sense of them. And so I thought I was going to take a little more time off, but this is all part of the process for me. The retrospective has been very powerful, very helpful in understanding this life, because we live but a vapor on this particular realm, this life right here. And we have to reflect at some point, and this has been a chance for us to slow down from 2020, I'll say, to slow down and reflect and to reconsider things. As I say, everything is on the table for reconsiderization. What am I making up words? Help me. What am I trying to reconsider? I'm trying to put more on it, right? Okay, so let's talk about Christmas from the standpoint of culture, because we've talked about Christmas in terms of when it started in America. Let's see. A lot of people are surprised that Christmas is it's very modern. So in terms of our holiday becoming official, the official Christmas holiday history. Let's see. And it's amazing whenever you do something where many countries, many nations are on board. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay, let's see. Britannica. We can always trust the Brits, right? With history. Okay, so I was trying to see the date that since the early 20th century. But in terms of in America, wait a minute. Okay. Does anybody know it? Give me a minute. Come on in. If you're new here, welcome. If you want to hang out for a bit on Christmas. Okay. Okay, when are you going to give me the info that I want? Because I've seen it. I just forgot the date. All right. Wow, this is a history of Christmas in the United States. It says Christmas traditions in the US go back hundreds of years. In the 1500s, Spanish settlers in Florida and the Southwest celebrated with church services and feast. But in 1659, Puritans in Massachusetts actually banned Christmas, believing it was unbiblical. That's interesting. The ban ended 1681. In the 1700s and 1800s, European immigrants brought customs like decorated trees, nativity plays, and Christmas songs. By 1823, the poem A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, made Santa Claus popular in America. So here we are, a narrative. That's all I really want to do. I want to look at these narratives and reason with you. So it says that the 1800s again, that's where I tend to focus. Sure, the 1500s, that would be interesting. The 1600s, also interesting. But it's that 1700 to 1800 timeline that always piques my curiosity, because that seems to be where time began for this world system that we're living in right now. So 1823, just imagine that. A poem called A Visit from St. Nicholas, also known as 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, made Santa Claus popular in America. German traditions such as decorating Christmas trees also spread widely. In 1870, that's what I was looking for, Congress made Christmas an official holiday for federal workers. By the 1900s, Christmas had become a mix of religious traditions, family celebrations, and growing commercial influence. Okay, now that right there, it speaks to me in a whole different way. So in 1870, Congress, and prior to this, we could look at how you need popular culture to um, get put the underlying influence, I'll say. So you have a poem, so something in terms of media, mass media. So a visit from St. Nicholas is a poem in 1823. How did it get disseminated and distributed among the culture is something I don't know. But that would be something I would wonder, how would that make Santa Claus popular in America? Why would a poem, were people that into poems, poetry in the 1800s? Is that like something that, are you saying it was so popular that it could make Santa Claus, I could say, into an icon, an American icon, and then a tradition? So it's only 1823 and 1870 where Congress would make Christmas an official holiday. I just wanted to break that down. Why would Congress? See, now I'm thinking like this, like a investigator, a student where I'm asking the questions. I would be the one getting in trouble now if I went to someone's government school, because I would ask, why does Congress make a holiday which is religious in its nature? Am I wrong? This is not a secular holiday from what I understood. It was a religious holiday to celebrate the birth of Christ, Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Are you getting any of that in the narrative that I've read so far? I heard Saint Nicholas. So a saint by the name of Nicholas is who is centered in this narrative. So yeah, Juan says moneymaker. Hey, the guru is here. Peace and love. Hello. Yeah, the guru and I, we've talked about, I guess, how you feel about Christmas this year. I find it's a fascinating observation, I'll say. It's a moneymaker. Let's be for real. Yes, it's a moneymaker. Some people get angry if you bring up the obvious, that Christmas is about commercial activities. This is a commercial holiday because it says it right here. For us here in America and American culture, if I am seeing that Congress made Christmas an official holiday, now I'm suspicious of why would Congress do it. What about our institution of church? Our churches, what were they doing? Was this an official holiday in terms of church? By the 1900s, Christmas became a mix of religious traditions. So how did that get infused into this commercial congressional creation mixed with German traditions? So this is a foreign thing, foreign to our nation. I'm fascinated because we are at a point where we could really question this right now. We could really truly ask questions without fearing that the mob will call you whatever, the Grinch. Tina's here. Wow, Tina, thanks for hanging out. Hi, Chatmosphere. Hope you're having a blessed. Thank you, Tina. So nice to see ya. So, Tina, you see 1800s pops up again. Were you here to catch that? 1870. 1870 is when Congress made Christmas an official holiday for federal workers. That's the other part of this, for federal workers. So, was it a holiday prior to that? Is I'm not seeing it. It says the 1500s you had Christmas traditions. I want to know more about those early 1500s and stuff like that, because we understand that the birth of Jesus Christ would be in the springtime. And this is a debate that I don't think anybody debates it anymore, that if you went by the holidays from the Bible, from the scriptures, it would not be in the winter that he would have been born. So the fact that we have this other holiday, which is a commercial influence, family celebrations, which is good. It's not a bad thing to get together with family. In fact, I shared on Instagram some vintage holiday Christmas pictures, and it lets you see how a lot of families in the 60s, the 70s, the 50s, how they celebrated Christmas as a family holiday that brought people together. Church was a big part of the culture, and we've changed. So now we deal with families that are severed because of all kinds of reasons. We had lots of what is the word? I would say inciting us to be divisive. Joseph, welcome, and Being Nessing, hello. Welcome to the chatmosphere. I'm glad you're here. Look at you checking in from Ireland. How are you, Joseph? I wonder when the Irish government, did your government, Joseph, introduced Christmas into your culture? I wonder when it started in Ireland as well. But yeah, I'm really curious about this in terms of why did Congress do this at that time period, 1870? And when we talk about being put in time, we've been put in a time loop, I'll say, because history is not linear. A lot of us are coming to these conclusions. History is not linear. History is cyclical, I'll say. Is that okay? Anybody? Can you can correct me. History is not linear, is what I'm understanding. It is cyclical, and it can be repeated generationally, especially if we don't learn from the problems, the issues, where we got off the wrong exit. So let's see. Resets. Yes, lots of resets. But they use the word reset to think that it's all bad. But now I'm looking at resets in terms of a reckoning. That's the thing. It's a reckoning, and it restores order again. Also, I am understanding this reckoning that we're having right now is all of the social contracts, every contract that we have in society, in culture, is being reconsidered. Like, if we were all going to come to the table, I've used that term for years now. Since 2020, I've been saying we need to come to the table. And when I say the table, I'm talking a table that we have never seen before. The table of humanity, where we come together and we renegotiate with each other, because we need that. We need new contracts, new social contracts, because the contracts have been broken. We have been, what is the word? 2020 was the biggest eye opener to how we have been what is the word, psyoped? I don't have a psyoped into compliance. We have been fear mongered into giving our, what is the word, like our agreement to things without having full consent. We have not been given full information to give a real prior consent understanding of the contract, because everything is a contract. Do you see? Everything in this world system is transactional. Christmas is transactional. Let's talk like real. Christmas is one of the most transactional experiences in our culture. I remember when I was really caught up in Christmas, the stress, right? The sheer agony of trying to run around to every store and last minute get deals, and you're forgetting about this person, and you spent this amount. Oh my God, I can't buy a gift for that person for $20. Oh my goodness, I got to spend more money, because what do you get a person who has everything? So you're getting a lot of junk made in China. That used to be like, when I tell you, I have been in a seething boil for so many years. Like, I have been angry at this stuff. And it's been hard to verbalize it because so many people are okay with it. They're just okay with getting, jerked around, just being a slave to this world. They're okay with it. They don't ever want to buck against the system. I know you guys have been fatigued at that. You're the person at work who wants to stand up for stuff that's happening that's not right, and everybody else is, I just need the paycheck. I don't want to rock the boat, right? And that's fine. I get it. But that's how tyranny continues. Too many people are silent and afraid. And this is what's led us to where we are today, in a culture where every institution is corrupt. Every institution. And a lot of people experience a lot of depression around this time of year. Listen, they baked it in the cake when they started all of this. They knew that psychologically they can, keep us in this time loop circle, this ritual. It's a ritual. And I know that it makes people angry. I had a video, I should link it to this one. When I'm finished and do all this stuff, I'll link the video of my mom and we were having a conversation because she worked at John Wanamaker's, an old Tartarian building in Philadelphia. And John Wanamaker, he was involved in the first World's Fair in America. So you already know that it's already suspicious, right? So John Wanamaker had one of the most amazing department stores that had a big pipe organ inside of this amazing marble and probably dolomite and everything you can imagine inside this structure that we are going in just for commercial purposes. We turned it into a department store. Are you kidding? A lot of us that have been through the mud flood, Tartarian scholarship, excuse me for the noise, we know that it's ridiculous, that we know the people that built these buildings did not intend for them to be temples of retail, right? Retail temples. Hey, IG Roller Disco 17. Yes, the organ, pipe organ. If we played the pipe organ and let that frequency out in the air, do you know we would not have a problem with other religions wanting to set up their temples and have their calls to prayer? No, this is not a nation that should have all of these temples everywhere. I'm sorry. That American dream that everybody's been sold, that's a contract that needs to be reconsidered, because I am an indigenous American. I am from here, okay? My bloodline is from this nation. Okay. And when my bloodline started to wake up to the deception and what happened to us and all the lies that have been told, the reclassifications that happen, we're kind of mad right now. Can you imagine somebody coming up in your house and just taking over, taking your family name and just saying, this is our shit now? Are you kidding? That's going to make the children, the real children of the inheritance, because people are playing around with the Most High Yah right now. This isn't just about immigration. This is about land rights, and it's a spiritual thing. And let me tell you, the Most High Yah is going to sort it out. Whether people like it or not, it's not going to be popular. How you doing, Apothecary? Welcome. You said it's one of the greatest keeping up with the Joneses fallacies out there. There you go. Yes, it is. Everything, all of the social contracts are up. And that means everything. We have to decide what kind of culture we want to live in. That's why you shouldn't fret that everything is falling apart, that it looks like it's falling apart, because we've been through these turnings before, right? The fourth turning. Have you heard about that conversation, the fourth turning? And you are living in a time when you're experiencing the end of the beginning, okay? It's like we keep thinking of an ending being this dreadful thing. And ending is a wonderful thing, especially when you're watching the ending of something that is so ugly and corrupted. It has to end, because anything that is this corrupted, it has no time is against it. Like we talk about empires and how they've had time, 200 years to rise and to fall. And we keep in this world system, they keep reclassifying these empires and telling us that, oh, it's the Roman Empire, it's this empire. And we're currently in a time loop where all of it is like, it's a big gumbo of Babylonian, Egyptian, Roman, Greek, pagans. We're living in a pagan world, and it's coming to an end. It doesn't mean, oh, the world is coming to an end, just like Hollywood has taught us that we're going to watch big big mushroom clouds of nuclear holocaust breaking out all over the realm. No, that has happened already, pretty much. The destruction of lands has happened. That's why we have the melted architecture all over. It looks like a candle. The mountains just melted. If you've ever been to the Grand Canyon, it's astounding. It's melted. You can't look at that and not see that something happened, a cataclysm. You look at pictures of Turkey, you know, you understand something happened and it changed the face of the world, of the earth. The face of the earth. It's like a big what? Plastic surgery for the earth. It changed everything. So we've had that cataclysm, and I'm not subscribing anymore to is expecting a tribulation, expecting the Antichrist and all of these things that we've been that get out of here. I am over it. I'm not doing it anymore. Nope. I'm taking my subscription out of that one. You guys, if you want to continue with the tribulation and the Antichrist and all of that, have at it. So let's get into a little bit more. Let's see. Naughty or nice? We've been told that you're being watched. How do you feel about that now? Like thinking about how that sounds. We were told as children that you are being watched, whether you are naughty or nice. Every year you're getting a grade on how you behaved all year. Somebody is watching you from the center of the earth, we're told, which is the North Pole. We were told to write letters that would arrive to the North Pole. That's the navel. The navel of the earth is the North Pole. So they pointed us to the North Pole very early in our life. Like this is the first lie ever told, is Saint Nicholas is up in the North Pole and he has a whole surveillance grid. Can't you see the elves? They are in a room like the NSA. They're watching you. They're tapping your phones and everything and listening, right? Is that what kind of surveillance that you're under as a child? And why would we give that power to a Saint Nicholas? Why not the omnipotent, omniscient, most high Yah? That is who's really watching us. But where is he watching us from? You never wrote a letter to Santa? I don't know if I've ever written a. What are you saying? Stay strong. Yes, stay strong. We are told to endure. Endurance. We need to have endurance and build endurance. We need to be resilient. And it doesn't matter what level of trauma we have been through. Okay, we could all put our trauma on the table. But what are we going to do once we've named our trauma, we've come to terms with it? What are we going to do to move forward? Because a lot of us, we stay in the trauma cycles, right? We stay stuck in the trauma cycles. Now we have to come to a different point in trauma so that we can be redeemed, because we have to start living for the kingdom. This world is over. It's over. It's finished. This world is done. Put a fork in it. So if you can practice putting on a kingdom mindset. And that takes practice. It does, because the world is just like it's on life support, I'll say. That's the best I could say for this current world system and culture. It's on life support. Tina's saying they keep changing the dates of the tribulation. Yes. Not sure how you can still think we are about to start that every year. I heard that all my life. I feel freedom now that I no longer subscribe to that. It is a freedom. Absolutely, Tina. When you can unsubscribe to the expectation of a tribulation for the saints. I mean, think about the way they set us up for failure is to expect that the Antichrist is coming at any moment. It could be anybody. It could be Obama, Clinton. It could be the Juan Carlos, King of Spain. Remember, he was in the running. Every president, even maybe Jimmy Carter was the only president that they never suspected was the Antichrist. He might be the only one, maybe. But everybody is up for the position to expect that the Antichrist is going to be one person. And this is the thing I want to say, and this is not a popular thing, but I have to say it. I used to be under the delusion that the American church was so powerful, so strong, that we could stand up against the Antichrist, that we were going to be just like the movies of the very what you're not being brave if you're hoping to be whisked out of the picture. So what are we really braving as Christians that are expecting to get raptured out before the Antichrist even comes to kick anybody's butt? So where's the test? So you can live like a Starbucks Christian, right? You can live like a Starbucks Christian, and when the Antichrist is coming on the scene to kick everybody's butt and behead everybody, oh, never mind, you're going to be whisked out with your what is that cup? What's everybody's into that cup? You'll have your big cup and your Starbucks and everything, and you're going to get whisked out of here, right? You Starbucks Christians. You can't even stand up to a mask mandate. Are you kidding me? That's when I knew that it was all BS. I saw the church in America fold like a lawn chair to a mask mandate. Are you kidding me? I was getting kicked out of places because I wasn't playing the game. And I would look around for like, where are all the strong Christians? Where are they? They're masked up, 3 masks, some of them. They were running to go get jabbed up with a mysterious jab. Jungle juice. They don't tell the truth to the young people. Now you're wondering why HIV AIDS is through the roof in cities like Houston, Atlanta. Oh, I'm just a tinfoil conspiracy nut that never trusted Fauci, right? I lost friends over Fauci. I'm trying to tell people, no, don't forget about Fauci and what he did with HIV AIDS back in the 80s. Are we going to forget about that? The gay community told us about Fauci. And just because I want to tell you guys about him, I'm the bad guy now? Oh, but now we got an HIV epidemic. Oh, wow. I don't know why people can't put 1 and 1 together to make 2. But the people who try to tell you are the bad guys. That's amazing, isn't it? How that works? That's fascinating. But we're just going to pretend like we don't know why HIV is on the rise right now in the cities. We're just going to pretend. I'm all for pretending if you are. Are you good with pretending? I don't think we are. I don't think we're pretending anymore. We're done with it all. That's why all the contracts are up for renegotiation. Every social contract. When they went too far and pushed us into a corner in 2020, there's no way they could expect to have society go forward in the same way. There's no way. Like I said, for me to be a foundational indigenous American and for them to flood my country, my nation, my land, my inheritance with a bunch of people that are going to dilute my culture. I know my culture is trash right now, but it's not going to help to dilute it. My culture needs rehabilitation right now. We need a whole new reset of culture, but it's not going to be due to flooding and diluting it with too many foreigners. I'm okay with foreigners, but listen, it has to make sense. And that's part of, they were playing in my face. They thought they thought my people were not going to wake up and see what was happening and what has happened to us, right? We know that we weren't enslaved like Hollywood told us. We were prisoners of war. We had people come and do the same thing they just did with flooding our borders. They've been doing the same thing, rinse and repeat. They flooded the country with immigration before it happened. They switched designation and names in Ellis Island. Listen, there are receipts that the people that came through Ellis Island, listen, it was a destiny swap in a lot of instances. Same thing they've done to give the estate away to people that never, listen, my grandparents are in the dirt in this nation. I have great grandparents that are buried in America. And I shouldn't look around and see the descendants of America living below foreigners. Did you really think that the Most High Yah was going to let that happen? He wasn't going to raise up a person like President Trump to regulate. Oh, the Most High Yah, he will use a man. He will use a king, King Cyrus. He will do things that will blow your mind at a speed that will make their necks break. That's why the original Americans are waking up at a speed that's so fast. It's confusing people. But everything is up for renegotiation. Everything. So I'm just saying that because everybody, all of my Chatmosphere friends, you should want my bloodline, my people to rise up in our proper position. Don't be afraid of that. Okay? Don't be afraid of that. That's what's going to happen. Okay? I'm just helping you understand it before it happens so you're not like, well, what happened? First they were this and then they were this. Oh, God does things so quickly. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Boom. It'll happen like that. You'll wake up like, how did that happen? Okay? It says it in the scriptures. In a moment, just a moment, their great riches will be brought to nothing. If their wealth was gotten by ill-gotten means, which it has, I'm not mad though. I'm not bitter. I realized that my people turned their back on the Most High Yah. Listen, we had a contract with Yah. We had a marriage contract, okay? We had all kinds of covenants that we broke. So I'm not saying my people are some kind of, oh, we're just so good and moral. No. I don't worship my ancestors. I call them out. I've been brought for such a time to tell that kind of truth, to piss everybody off. Because somebody has to be the curse breakers. And we can't stay in delusion. We lost our position because we turned our back. We broke our contracts. And so the Most High Yah will allow you to be taken over by other bloodlines when you turn your back. He gave us a divorce document because we wanted the government. We wanted the government. We wanted other gods. We want Greek gods, Roman gods, Saturnalia. That's what this Christmas ritual is, Saturnalia. These people are worshiping Saturn. This is Kronos. Do you all know about Kronos? Kronos eats his own babies, right? That is father time. Father time. And that's what's against the people who have been at the helm of this world. Father time, they can't keep like getting more time on the meter. They've found out how to game the system and keep us in a loop, a time loop. But it's not going to happen anymore because we needed a certain amount of people to wake up to it. It can't see the world system that we are currently looping and looping around in time. We have to give it our energy, our belief. We have to allow it to be propped up by our fear, we give consent to this monster. So when we stop giving consent and we start to realize that time, we've been looping and looping for generations, going around the wilderness. 40 years is a generation. And once we start coming out of this time loop, we can finally have the restoration. Do you see? Time will be restored even. Because when you manipulate time, and we've had angels that were given jobs, they were supposed to keep the times by the light, like the moon and the sun and the stars, and they were supposed to keep time correctly. But when they make agreements with fallen angels, right, and they want to put the people, the children of God, in a mental time loop, then they have to create systems like this. And Kronos, these are false, fallen angels. And The eating of the children is seen in many ways. You could even say, in a sense, this whole Christmas ritual, because we're throwing our children on the lap of Saint Nicholas. We're putting our children on his lap. Who is he? I've heard people say, "Oh, he was a good guy, Saint Nicholas." Are you serious? Why is he higher than God and God's son in our culture? Why is he centered in this holiday? And why do we have to argue with each other over this? It's pretty obvious. And we're lying to children. That's the very first lie that is told to you, to your consciousness. You're being told about a man who lives at the center of the world, the navel of the world, who comes down your chimney. Even if you don't have a chimney, how do you make up for the not having a chimney? But we keep making concessions. Well, oh, he figures a way. So what, he breaks into the house? It's a lot that we're being expected to believe against our better judgment, because inside of our spirit, our judgment, our discernment is telling us that we're being lied to. I believe even children know sometimes when they're being lied to. And what does that do to the trust between adults and children? Why is that a ritual that you have to go through to be told this lie? That they're going to eventually tell you. It's not the adults that really tell you that it's not true. It's other children, right? Other children end up telling you, they laugh at you if you've believed it for a long time. You're the joke of the circle, right? And you're naive. Because what it does is it does something to your innocence, right? Jamie said, I'm laughing out loud. I love you, Jen. I love you too, Jamie. All right, so wait, let me get through my slides here. I've been yapping. I've just been talking. Hey, 420, Wild Dragon is here, live from Start of Life, right? Why is the lie told to us? I'm just asking. Okay, so are you naughty or nice because Santa Claus is like the NSA and can watch you from the North Pole? Isn't that fascinating? And it's such an innocent thing to the child. They sell this and market this, so it's just adorable, isn't it? Wow. And here we are in terms of the cartology, and look at the imagery, the Norman Rockwell paintings of the 50s, a little bit of the 40s and 50s. But look at Santa on the ladder, planning. What's he doing? Like the mapping out his toy deliveries. So he's better than Amazon, okay? He's delivering all these toys to every child in the world in one night. Flying reindeer. It is funny, right? My, oh my. But Santa has been taking the Ozempic, I think. I think Santa's been on Ozempic. This is the new Santa. This is oh boy, what is this? The cat daddy Santa. I don't know. Where's Mrs. Santa? Look at that. And then, wow, look at the one Santa where he's looking up at your letter, that he's judging your letter. Kind of scary, right? Be a Nessing, hey, just like in the church, drink the blood of Christ, and the little wafer was made from his body. Sick, magic, trickery, beliefs. Isn't that something? Yeah, lots of rituals that need to be, again, this is part of the reckoning. All the social contracts, every contract is up for consideration to be renegotiated. And this year I'm going to do a retrospective. Let's do a timeline jump. I'm up to 1997. Yeah. The next retrospective for the American Cultural Retro, that will be coming up, and that's 1997. I'm going to drop the episodes because it's too many numbers, and I it's not necessary to say the episode, so I'm just going to go by the year. I believe it's 1997. That's the next retrospective. So what I want to do before they claim that we're having a new year, January 1st, Janus, for the god Janus, right? That looks ahead and behind. Interesting. So January. Okay, I've got off on a tangent. Before that date that they claim is our new year, I want to do a year in review of 2025 because it has been a doozy, has it not? So we have amazing things happening, unexpected. I did not expect. Um, I'm calling 50 Cent. I call him Gotham City's War Angel. That is my name for 50, for Curtis Jackson, because he did something this year that was just wow, okay? I don't know if you all got to see the Diddy documentary, but what a doozy. What a doozy. Tell me, I want to see who has watched the Diddy documentary. Let me see. I'm going to get a little water here as I'm looking at the chatmosphere. Who watched the documentary? Let's see. Hey, Raylene, welcome. Jen, you are one of the few who is calling it like it is. Oh, really? I wish it was more. Many other truthers going with the whole Christmas thing, although they know the truth. Good on. Well, you know what, Raylene? I get that this is the final hurrah. I believe that a lot of this stuff is winding down so much that it won't matter anymore. And I mean that in the young people are moving the culture forward, and they are not accepting these social contracts. Have you noticed that if you spend any time on TikTok, you will see that the young generation, they're going to take the world, they're going to take the kingdom, they're going to be the leaders that the Most High Yah will rise. They're rising up now. A lot of them are like prophets. They're very bold, but they're not accepting of the old world. You can't fear monger them. You can't guilt trip them. Have you noticed? So I believe that, or I know that the young people are going to be used to help reset the culture. So don't have any fear about the young generation, because the Most High Yah always has a remnant, and their energy is what is needed to see the kingdom of Yah just the kingdom come. That's all I can focus on, the kingdom, and how redemption is going to it's flooding our world, redemption, and people are rejecting the what is it? The corruption, the ugliness. They're rejecting it. So when you look at, again, a drama like the Diddy drama, it's a Greek tragedy and comedy. And showing us who's who on the divide. Who is for Diddy, the diddler, and who's against the diddler and the culture of the diddler. Because that's a whole culture. He's like the Greek god Dionysus, or the Roman god Caligula. This is the kind of parties and debauchery, drugs, and all kinds of elixirs to make you consent to depravity, to degrading sexual rituals, because that's what they are, sexual rituals, sex magic. He uses the biological fluids from sex, and he performs rituals with them. That's called sex magic. These people are sick. They're real loon balls, as my boy For No Fame, loon balls, okay? We are judging them. We have to start judging this culture and not being afraid to say they are loon balls of the highest order. Reprobates. Exactly. Absolute reprobates. And the thing about reprobates, as we move out of this world system and allow it to collapse, we are moving into the kingdom culture where Diddy will be ashamed to do his practices. Shame will come back. It will not be easy to have freak offs and live like the devil and be okay with it. It's, I used to say at a point with the pro-life movement, how you go through the paces is, yeah, I don't want abortion to be legal because it's not legal. Murder is not legal when it comes to God. But with man's laws, they can manipulate things, right? But it doesn't make it legal. But of course, I would want man's law to outlaw the murder of babies in the womb. But I would, more than that, I would like to live in a culture that makes abortion unthinkable. Do you see the difference? I want abortion to be unthinkable. That's the kind of culture I want to live in. Yeah, you can do it, but you wouldn't even think of it because we have elevated our culture to a point where that is unthinkable. It is a reprobate. It is something that we judge to be bad and corrupt. And it's something we don't want. We don't want it anywhere near our camp. Do you see the difference? That's where you are governing yourself. You don't need an outside agent to govern you and tell you what's right and wrong, right? That's like animals. You need a police force. Listen to the word force. You need force? No, how about we start to police ourselves and we renegotiate our social contracts and we decide what is not acceptable. And someone like Diddy would have never happened because we're constantly checking and balancing, reckoning. It's better to reckon as you go. That should be a good t-shirt. Reckon as you go, right? So you don't have a reckoning like we're having right now. Wrecking people, wrecking them. They're effing around and finding out. All right, so we had, I shared this Going Up Yonder if you want to look at it. I was talking about this gospel song that I loved growing up. My mom always played it, and now it rings different to me. Going up yonder, I'm fascinated with that aspect of the navel of the earth, the center of the world. It's a fascinating subject. And what happens when we start to look at Christmas and the whole Christmas mythology and everything, it always comes down to cosmology. And I don't know about you all, but I always loved little Christmas globes, and people tended to have them a lot. Do you remember? I don't know about now. I don't see globes anymore like I used to, but I would see the nice globes. Have you all seen globes out there? Let me know. But that's one of the things that has been a growth from this particular scholarship, I'll call it. A lot of us started around the same time looking into these issues, and cosmology is what needed a big correction. The corners of the earth. So I don't know what we're going to do with this Christmas contract, I'll say. A Christmas social contract. I don't know how we're going to move forward, but I do know that the Christmas spirit is broken. Whatever happened, maybe it was 2020. You can't divide people and scare the hell out of them where they don't even want to get together anymore. They're afraid that they're going to kill grandma. Remember back in 2020, people were having celebrations, birthdays, and everything, and they were driving by in the car, throwing gifts at mama. They were so scared. I just couldn't believe that I was witnessing that. Birthday parties in a to-go line. Did you see crap like that? I saw a church having services out in the parking lot even. And they had masks on outside. They were having a church service in masks out in a parking lot. So these are the same people that claim that they can, I guess, stand up to Antichrist, maybe. I don't know. I can't see it. Everybody would have to be raptured because they wouldn't be able to stand up to the Antichrist. That's for sure. But now, some of the young people, they got caught up in a spell of consumerism that became so dystopian, and they need help, a lot of them, because they're caught up in lies of old money. Let me tell you about this old money aesthetic that has been popular among certain elitist young people. Is they want to capture this old money, Ralph Lauren, old money America. Let me tell you about old money and America. There is no such thing. When it comes to, you can't come to a nation in the 17 and 1800s and rob the estates of the indigenous original people. You can't take those estates and loot them and steal the names and destiny swap and trading places and all of that. You can't do that and then declare that you're old money. It's impossible. So what we have deemed as old money is based on a lie. There is no old money in America. The families that we have been told have old money, they are thieves. Anybody who can tell me that the Rockefellers, the Vanderbilts, the Carnegies, I can go on and on. Are you kidding me? These are not old money families. They came into places like New York, which was filled with castles. We have proof that castles stood all throughout New York City. Castles. And these people came through and destroyed them. They claim, oh, we can't keep up the amount that it costs to keep these things running. They called them white elephants. All along the boulevards of New York, these were single castles. That's right, stolen money, stolen titles. So this is what I'm talking about when it comes to a reckoning. We have to come out of the delusion that there is some sort of old money. All of these people that think they're old money, they're going to have a rude awakening, living off of stolen inheritances. That is not a blessing. That is a curse. In fact, you don't have to look that far. You look into these old money so-called families, you wouldn't want to trade places with them. Their progeny are so screwed up. The only people that get to enjoy old money is the first generation, the thieves, the pirates, the robber barons, because their children are going to inherit curses. Their children, a la the Gettys. Have you ever looked into John Paul Getty? He was, we talked about it during the rewind. He was abducted. He was screwed up after that abduction. He was on drugs. I mean, all you have to do is look at any of these so-called old money families. They are so cursed. And you would not want to inherit that type of money. We have been conditioned to think that these people have it made. They have been flaunting and flexing in front of us for decades. They've been in the society pages of Town and Country, showing off their philanthropic balls and charity this and charity that, in gowns and galas. And we have been jealous of them. We have been wanting what they supposedly have. But it's all crumbling. They have had their heaven on earth. They have had everything that the world can give. And it wasn't worth it in the end. It would only be worth it if you could have a good legacy, a good name, something to leave your children. That would be the only way that it was worth it. You said especially firstborn sons. Yes. And it's no getting around it. If you look into any of these people, they are all tortured. That's why we don't have to worry about what's his name, Soros. Look at George Soros's son. He looks like, I'm not a doctor, but I played one a time or two maybe. But I could look at George Soros's son. In my opinion, he looks like a little, like, measly little ratty kind of guy, little beady eyes. He probably has little baby hands, and his hands are probably moist. He doesn't give off a masculine, manly vibe. His father, maybe, but his son, usually the son of an important man, is not going to be too impressive. It's rare. It really is. It takes a really powerful man to impart to a son, that a son can take that legacy, that inheritance, and really do better than his father. Right? It's really rare that you see that. You look at Hollywood kids, look at Will Smith's children. Do you think Will Smith's children could take the Smith legacy forward? I'm just asking. Any of these children. And the wealth is what ruins them. So they came to America. They thought they were really going to get over and steal the land, the titles. They thought they were going to become the robber barons, the moguls of America, and have this legacy going for generation upon generation in perpetuity. But no, it had to come to a reckoning. And their generations are cursed. None of them are doing well. None. So it's just, we're watching a reckoning. We're really watching a reckoning. I wanted to do a little piece on this right here. Check this out. This guy is called Bobby. He died. Bobby of Boston. Does anybody know Bobby of Boston? Bobby of Boston, he had this amazing knack for merchandising the American aesthetic. And he was a foundational American, an indigenous American from the Boston area. I'm not sure if he was born in Boston, but he began his business in like big loft spaces, and he could create such a vibe that Hollywood would scout his space as a like place to maybe film, or they would buy costuming and things from him. He had really rare things, like he went to estate sales and yard sales and everything, but it was the way that Bobby would put this together. And he created this amazing American aesthetic. And I want to say this is where Ralph Lauren got his inspiration. Ralph Lauren would go to Bobby's of Boston, and he would just study a lot of what Bobby was doing. And he pretty much got inspired for the aesthetic. A lot of it, you get inspiration from many places. And it just tells you how you can take that American, whatever it is, an aesthetic, a dream, and you can build an empire. Ralph Lauren built an empire off of this. And his name is like something Lipschitz. What's his name? He's like, I know I read it before. Ralph Lauren, it lets you know what you can do with this American narrative. Okay. So Ralph Lauren, his real name is, let's go to it. Ralph Lauren is originally named Ralph Lifshitz, born October 14th, and he's a billionaire. He was able to take the American aesthetic and turn it into $1 billion enterprise. Ralph Lifshitz. Yes, Ralph Lifshitz, okay, is Ralph Lauren, who got his inspired, he was, his muse in a sense is Bobby of Boston. So this is Bobby of Boston. One day maybe I'll do a little thing on Bobby. But that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about, is that um we're moving into a spiritual maturity as a culture. I see it. Um, we have to be reflective on where we have come, how we have fallen, what has happened. We have to be very honest about it, because it's I get it. It's hard to do because of ego. It's hard to admit, but that's part of growing into a mature spiritual um, identity, is to reflect on where we went wrong in our culture. How can I look at these pictures here and see these foundational Americans? They were different. Look at, nobody is tattooed. You don't see piercings all over them. Everybody is on a certain code of conduct. And I know people will say, oh, don't give me that respectability politics. Well, we need respectability. We need to first respect ourselves like we used to. We used to have respect. And we can't keep living like savages and expecting a different outcome. Because I look at these people, they don't have weight issues. That's a curse. All this obesity and illness, that is a curse upon a people. We were not cursed like that. Look at the pictures. It tells the story. We were different. We were flipped and changed and transformed into another kind of people with another kind of culture. That's why anybody should be concerned with what happens to the indigenous original Americans. Because if you can be apathetic towards their fallen state and not care about it, then guess what? America will never be great until the original Americans are great. And that's what everybody needs to understand. Your greatness is tied to the original Americans waking up and rising up. It's literally tied to it. You should be praying that the original Americans will come back into their right mind. That should be your prayer. Instead of talking about black fatigue. You don't even know who the black people are truly, because they don't even know who they are. Look at that. It's the most hidden thing. That should be waking people up, like, wait a minute. It's something to this. Yeah, it's muddied with all the different distracting conversations that only, it's divisive. Because us waking up is not saying that, oh, we're chosen, we're better than everybody else. No, look at what happened to us. Look at how low we have fallen. Nobody wants to be black. Are you kidding? You don't think that's a spiritual issue? You think that just happened naturally, organically? Look at these pictures. This is what we were like. We had we were the black Victorians, if you want to say that. The black Edwardians. We were high-minded. We played instruments. We were the musicians. Are you kidding? You are going to tell me that the voices of Leontine Price and those amazing women, you don't, what? Marian Anderson? You don't think that that is a spiritual thing? That the Black Americans have some kind of spiritual claim and a redemption on the horizon to come back, come out of Greek delusions and Babylonian, Egyptian, Book of the Dead, dead at sea, lost at sea, maritime status? You don't think all of this is spiritual? The flooding of other people, Somalis in Minnesota claiming that Minnesota was given to them by God. What? You think that those Dixiecrat, the real racists of the Democratic Party, did not try to dilute the foundational Black Americans? You don't see the play at hand? You don't see they tried to come and make other people replace us? Keep us on the bottom? Black in law, African American, we're not doing that anymore. We're not going everywhere and everybody telling us who we are. If you will let a man tell you that he's a woman, you're not going to tell me that I am not from the tribe of Judah, a Hebrew heiress of the Washington people, true Americans. I got an issue with what they've been doing on my land. And you don't want us to start calling the Most High Yah even more and get him on the hotline. Because you won't fear ICE getting rid of you. You will fear the Most High Yah getting you up off of my land. ICE will be the least of your worries. The least. Because that's where we are now. I used to be the best friend to any immigrant, any foreigner. I've always had my arms wide open. Always. You could sit at my table. But what you're not going to do is play in my face anymore. If you're true, then good. I embrace it. But you're not going to come on my land and tell me that the Most High Yah gave you Minnesota, where Prince, foundational American late, Prince Rogers Nelson from Minnesota? Are you kidding me? He shared a history that I share. We have similar histories, ethnicities, and stories in this land. The Most High Yah is not going to allow pirates and parasites to continue to loot and steal from the indigenous foundationals, right? You guys get angry and triggered over the talk of reparations, but it's not so much about, oh, I'm giving them a pile of money. How about every state is an e-state? The state of Georgia is an e-state. And how about if a foreigner comes in here illegally and can get benefits, can get Social Security, but I am told that I got to keep working till I'm just about dead to tap into some money I paid? But you're going to let a foreigner come in here whose ancestors never fought for this nation like mine, who do not have a history, don't even know who the original real Americans are, don't even understand what's going on, just going to come here and think that they can pillage the estate. Oh no, that's not happening, period. Full stop. That American dream that was sold to people, that's another contract that's going to be renegotiated, because somebody's American dream is not going to be my American nightmare. That's not how this is going to go. So this whole American dream, we're going to have to wake up, everybody. Wake up, and we're going to renegotiate every social contract, including Christmas, okay? Including Christmas. All of it. Because y'all done pissed off the right ones. Pissed off the right ones. Yes, you did. So I just want to say that culturally, the reckoning is continuing. We're doing an autopsy on the culture, that we're letting it die. We're going to do an autopsy when it's finally flatlined. And we got to get into this kingdom minded. We have to move forward. All of our trauma, we got to move past it. Like my book that I'm writing, it is really helping in, like, I couldn't pay for the amount of therapy that I'm experiencing right now. The amount of decoding and understanding, understanding, anything you want to call it, the amount of that's happening, just writing and recalling memories. And the writing process, it's like if you've ever written an essay. When you write an essay, you really dig into understanding the different elements of a story, of a narrative. And if you're doing that on your life, you're writing various essays from the memories that you recall. And you're sorting through, and like I said, you're processing. And you're getting a little distance in the processing, but you're able to see your trauma. Like I'm able to see my trauma in a way, like I told you all, I could laugh at a lot of it. I could really see the absurdity in this whole human drama. It's comedy, it's drama, right? Comedy, tragedy. And I'll talk more about the writing process, but just know that it's a process. I'm enjoying it. I recommend it for anybody, and I will share my process. Like I said, I will. I'll keep you posted. In the meantime, I will also do a retrospective of 2025. I'm going to jump ahead the timeline, and I'll look for the highlights of this year. And I'll do this before, like I said, they claim the new year is happening. So what's going on in the chatmosphere? This is me, by the way, of Christmas in Gary, Indiana. I don't know what it was about this type of Christmas tree that was popular in the 60s. What was that about? Does anybody know this fake Christmas tree, this white, and I guess my mom put gold decorations, but it's funny because I see it in a lot of pictures from this time period. Nobody seemed to have a real Christmas tree. When I was into Christmas trees, I always got a live Christmas tree. And we used to also get live Christmas trees, I guess, in the 70s. Live Christmas trees were the thing. But yeah, I don't know what was going on with this period of Christmas aesthetics. You can see me with the cats. I've always been a cat lady. I was a cat baby, okay? A cat baby. And I'm holding my kitten. I always had cats. So I have a definite connection to the felines, the big cats and the small cats. So what else is going on, everybody? What else are you going to get into? I'm going to eat a late meal, good food that I am going to eat a little bit. I had a little bit earlier. Oh my goodness, Beth is here. Beth, welcome. You said you had to do with it had to do with the space age. Oh, that's why they had the fake trees back then. Oh, it had to do with the space age going to the moon kind of thing. That's so funny, Beth. You said then Charlie Brown Christmas changed it all with that pathetic real tree and woke everybody up to live Christmas trees. Oh, is that what it was? It was Charlie Brown. Oh my. Wow, wow, wow. Well, in the spirit of Charlie Brown, let me read what Linus read. It's my favorite part of, I don't want to show it or anything because I might get struck, right? Let me read Linus's part in the play because that was my favorite part whenever he read that part. Let's go over it. Okay. Linus Christmas meaning. All right, let's see. I found this. Okay. Linus, since you brought up Charlie Brown, after many frustrations, Charlie Brown calls out to anyone who can explain to him the true meaning of Christmas. His good friend Linus goes out onto stage to recite a short passage from Luke in the Bible and helps everyone to remember exactly why we are celebrating this holiday. I guess you were right, Linus. I shouldn't have picked this little tree, said Charlie Brown. Everything I do turns into a disaster. I guess I don't really know what Christmas is all about. Isn't there anyone who knows what Christmas is all about? Sure, Charlie Brown, I can tell you what Christmas is all about, said Linus. Linus walks on stage. Lights, please. And there were, in the same country, shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone round about them, and they were sore afraid. And the angel said unto them, Fear not, for behold, I bring you good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. Ye shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger. And suddenly there was with the angel a multitude of the heavenly host, praising God and saying, Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace, goodwill toward men. And Linus picks up his jacket and shuffles off stage, and he says, That's what Christmas is all about, Charlie Brown. So I will end on that note. No, you're not late. You're welcome, Raylene. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I will eventually, I want to start asking some of you all to come up to to come up and talk to me, okay? So we're going to be working on that, me and Marlon, when we do the retrospective. We'll be working on that, okay? Getting the cultural reckoning, seeking balance, reclaiming culture.